Hi. All right, so I'm Miss Grayson. If you go to Mastery Molina Lower, you know that. If you're just tuning in, I teach second grade and I am doing read alouds while we are out of school. I'm trying to make them aligned with the same standards that we would be learning in school. I have 2 dogs, so they're probably going to be walking back and forth. So today we're going to work on story elements. There are 4 story elements: characters, setting, problem, and solution. Characters means who's in the story. Setting means where and when does the story take place. Problem means something went wrong and we need to figure out what went wrong. And the solution is a big word that means how that problem got fixed. In a lot of stories, the problem doesn't get fixed right away. The characters usually have to try a couple different plans before they find a solution to a problem. And that's what happens in the story, The Puppy Who Wanted a Boy. I chose this one because I knew that my dogs would probably be, and here she is, walking back and forth. This is my puppy, her name is Rue. So we're gonna read about the puppy who wanted a boy. And while I'm reading, I want you to try to think about who's in the story, where is the story, what's wrong, and how does that problem get fixed? I'll stop, don't worry, we'll talk about it. All right. One day, Petey, who was a puppy, said to his mother, who was a dog, "I'd like a boy for Christmas." His mother, who was a dog, said she thought he could have a boy if he was a very good puppy. So the day before Christmas, Petey's mother asked, "Have you been a very good puppy?" "Oh yes," said Petey. "I didn't frighten the cat." "You didn't?" asked Petey's mother. "Well, I just frightened her a little. And I didn't chew any shoes." "Not any?" said his mother. "Well, just a teeny weeny chew," said Petey. And I remembered, well, almost remembered, to bark when I wanted to go out. "All right," said his mother. "I think you've been good for such a little dog. I will go out and get you a boy for Christmas." But when Petey's mother came back, she looked very worried. "How would you like a soft white rabbit for Christmas?" she said to Petey. "No, thanks." "Don't you want a lovely canary?" "I'd like a boy," said Petey. "How about some guppies?" said Petey's mother. "I just want a boy," said Petey. "Petey," said his mother at last, "there are no boys to be found." "No boys?" cried Petey. "Not one I could find. They're terribly short of boys this year." Petey thought he couldn't stand it if he didn't have a boy. Finally, his mother said, "There now, there must be a boy somewhere. Perhaps you could find some dog who would give his boy away." I'm going to stop here because we've now read the beginning part of the story. And in the beginning, that's always when you find out who's in the story, characters, where the story is, or when, and the problem. So I want you to think, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think who's in the story and tell someone who's watching this with you. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your grandma, grandpa, uncle, tell your dog, tell someone. All right, now I want you to think where or when is the story. What clues did we have in the book? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the second page because that's where my evidence is that tells me the setting. So the day before Christmas, Petey's mother asked, "Have you been a very good puppy?" So now we don't have a where, but we have a when. I want you to talk to someone at your house or talk to yourself. If you're home alone, talk to yourself. I'm talking to myself. Well, I'm talking to you, but you're not here. So talk and say, where is the story? We don't know. But when is the story? We know that. You have 10 seconds. What time of year is it? All right, now, the problem has been introduced. That means they told us the problem. What is the problem? Good, that Petey wants a boy, but they can't find any. There's a shortage of boys, so he can't have a boy. Let's go back and say who the characters were. The characters that we've met so far are Petey and his mom. The setting, when the story takes place, is around Christmas time. We know it's the day before Christmas. And the problem, which we talked about, is that Petey really wants a boy, but Mom couldn't find one. So now we're going to see how they try to solve this problem. Remember, problems don't get fixed right away, just like in life. We can't fix problems right away. But we're going to see all the things he does to try and solve his problem. Do you think I could look? Asked Petey. Well, it wouldn't hurt to try, said his mother. So Petey started off. It wasn't long before he saw a collie racing with a boy on a bicycle. Petey trembled with joy. Trembled means like shake. If I had a boy on a bicycle, I could run like anything. I'll take a little run right now, and I'll ask the collie politely if he'll give his boy away. What do you think? Do you think this dog's going to give his boy away? I hope my dogs wouldn't give me away. Let's find out. So, Petey leapt after the bicycle. He called out to the collie, "Excuse me, do you want to give your boy away?" But the collie said no, he definitely didn't, in a dreadful tone of voice, which means he sounded like this. No, I don't. Because he doesn't sound happy. Petey sat down. He watched the collie and his boy on a bicycle until they were out of sight. I really didn't want a boy on a bicycle anyway, said Petey. After a while, he saw a setter playing ball with a boy. Petey was delighted, so happy. If I had a boy to play ball with, I'd catch the ball smack in my mouth. I'd like to catch the ball now. But he remembered how cross, or how not nice, the collie had been. So he sat down on the sidewalk and called out politely, "Excuse me, do you want to give your boy away?" But the setter said no, he definitely didn't, in a terrifying tone of voice, which means he sounded like this. "No, I don't!" A little scary. "Oh well," said Petey, trotting off. "I don't think playing ball is so much fun." Soon, Petey came to a bulldog. There's the bulldog. Sitting in a car with a boy. Petey was pleased, for he was getting a little tired from so much walking. "If I had a boy in a car," said Petey, "I'd laugh at walking dogs. I'd like a ride right now." So he called out loudly, but very politely, "Excuse me, do you want to give your boy away?" But the bulldog said no, he definitely didn't, and he growled in Petey's face. He's like, no. Poor Petey. "Uh-oh," said Petey. He hurried behind a house and stayed there until he saw the bulldog and his boy drive away. "Well, who wants to go riding in a car?" "Not me," said Petey, coming out from behind the house. He thought he would just rest a while, though. He had come a long way for such a little dog. He was limping a bit when he started again. After a while, he met a Scotty walking with his boy and carrying a package in his mouth. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think Petey's going to say? I'll give you a hint. It starts with, "Excuse me." Good. I wonder if we're right. "Now that is a good kind of boy," said Petey. "If I had a boy to take walks with and carry packages for, there might be some dog biscuits or cookies in the package, and I would like a cookie right now." He hadn't had any lunch. But then he remembered how cross, mean, the collie and the setter and the bulldog had all been. So he stayed across the street and shouted at the top of his lungs, but very politely, Excuse me, do you want to give your boy away? The Scotty had his mouth full with the package, but he managed to say no, he definitely didn't. And he showed his sharp teeth to Petey. So I want to stop there. So that was the middle of the story. The middle of the story is when we really know the problem and we look at all the steps the character takes to fix it. So we have beginning. That's when we were told the characters and the setting, and they told us the beginning of the problem. Now we're in the middle of the story, and they're really telling us about the problem. And we know that he took all these steps to try to fix his problem. Give me one. I'll give you 12 seconds to talk about it, think about it, tell your hand about it, tell your dog about it, tell a friend about it. Okay, are you ready? I can't hear you telling me what you're thinking, so I'll tell you what I was thinking. One way that Petey tried to solve his problem was he asked the collie, hey, can I have your boy? But the collie wasn't nice. A second way he tried to solve his problem was by going to the, oh no, I forget. Oh, I can look in my book. I don't think the bulldog was second. Oh, that's right. The setter. It was the setter he went to second. But they wouldn't give him the ball either. Or the boy, because he was playing ball either. Then it was the bulldog. But the bulldog wouldn't give up his boy either. And then it was a Scotty dog. And the Scotty dog wouldn't give up the boy either. I think I skipped a page. Nope. I did, but it didn't have another example. So these are all the ways he's trying to solve his problem. Now we're getting to the end of the story. Pay attention because we're going to see how the problem is fixed. I guess that wasn't the kind of boy I wanted either, said poor Petey. But my goodness, where can I find a boy? Well, Petey trotted on, but he couldn't find a single dog who would give up his boy. Petey's ears began to droop. His tail began to grow limp. His legs were very tired. My mother was right, he thought. There isn't a boy to be found. Just as it was getting dark, he came to a large building on the very edge of town. Petey was walking by slowly when he saw a sign that said, Home for Boys. Maybe I could find a boy here, Petey said to himself. These boys have no parents and no dog to take care of them. He padded or walked slowly up to the walk of the home. He was so tired he could barely feel his little paws. Then Petey stopped. He listened. He could hear music. He looked through the window. He saw a lighted Christmas tree and children singing carols. That sounds fun. Then Petey saw something else. On the front steps of the building, all by himself, sat a boy. He was not a very big boy, but he looked lonely. Petey gave a glad little cry. He forgot about being tired. He leaped up and landed in the boy's lap. Sniff, sniff, went Petey's little nose. Wag, wag, went Petey's little tail. He kissed the little boy with his warm, wet tongue. How glad the boy was to see Petey. He put both his arms around the little dog and hugged him tight. Then the front door opened and a lady looked out. Why, here you are, Ricky. This is a new character. She said, what is our newest boy doing out here all alone? Come on in and sit near the Christmas tree. Petey sat very still. The boy sat still. The boy looked up at the lady and down at Petey. Petey began to tremble. Would the boy go in and leave him? I'm not alone, said the boy. I've got a puppy. A puppy? The lady came out and looked at Petey in surprise. Can he come too? Said the boy. Why, said the lady, you're a nice little dog. Wherever did you come from? Yes, bring him in, bring him in. Come on, puppy, cried the boy. In they scampered. A crowd of boys was playing around the Christmas tree. They rushed at Petey. They picked him up and petted him. Petey wagged his tail. He wagged his fat little body. He frisked about and licked every single one of the boys. That was Rue. She's growling because I'm not paying attention to her. I don't know if you heard that. Can we keep him? Said one. Can we give him some supper? Said another. Can we fix him a nice warm bed? Said a third. We will give him some supper and a nice warm bed, said the lady. And tomorrow we will find his mother and see if she'll let him stay. Petey knew his mother would let him stay. She knew how much he wanted a boy. But won't she be surprised, said Petey to himself with a happy little grin, when I tell her I got 50 boys for Christmas. The end. So what was the solution to the problem, or how was the problem fixed? I'm going to give you 15 seconds to explain it. Either tell your finger, tell your hand, tell your dog, tell the air, tell a family member. How was the problem fixed? Okay, are you ready? I'm going to tell you how I think the problem was fixed because I can't hear you. The problem was fixed because Petey tried really, really hard to find a boy. And we know that he failed a couple times. But then he went to a home for boys where there were boys that didn't have families and they didn't have dogs either. And Petey found a boy named, let me look. I think it was Ricky. I want to double check. Yep, Ricky. Says it right there on page 25. And they went inside and had Ricky as a friend. But then there were 50 boys. So he found 50 boys to love and to take care of instead of just finding one. So this was today's story, the puppy who wanted a boy. Yeah, the puppy who wanted a boy. It seems so weird to say it that way. And what we worked on were story elements. Who, where, when, what's wrong, and how is it fixed? And you guys did a great job. Next time, we will do another story, and we will do the 5-finger retell, which means we will retell a story using our fingers to remind us of what parts to retell. All right. Thanks.